Hungry on the TRA? Just buy a bento box. If you've ever taken a long-distance Taiwan Railways Administration TRA train, you've probably had a bento lunchbox. Let's discover the history of train bento boxes. During the period of Japanese rule, 1895 to 1945, the government built an efficient, reliable train system in Taiwan. By 1940, it had constructed train tracks linking the northern and southern parts of the island. Once train travel became common, so did the need for food to eat on the go. Vendors began selling Japanese-style eki-ben or train bento boxes. However, these were only available at train stations or nearby markets. When Japanese rule ended, Taiwanese began calling eki-ben biendong. This is a Mandarin word that sounds similar to the Japanese word bento, which means box lunch. In 1956, the TRA began its own meal preparation services and started selling biendong aboard trains during journeys. The TRA now prepares official meals at facilities in Taipei, Taichung, Kaohsiung, Hualien, and Chidu stations. It sells over 10 million bento boxes every year.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to English for You. I'm Mike.
I'm Trigling.
And today we're going to begin day one of our article, Hungry on the TRA? Just buy a bento box.
Bento?
Yes, on the TRA. That's the Taiwan Railway Administration. It's the train, buying a bento box on the train here in Taiwan. Have you done this before?
I think I have.
Yeah?
Like one time.
I think I've done it in Japan much more than I've done it here.
Oh, okay.
And I love the bento boxes you can get in Japanese train stations. So we're obviously going to look at the history of bento boxes, and maybe it will be enough to get me to try out a local bento box next time I take the train. But it's going to be interesting. So let's get into the article.
So the article starts with...
All right. It says, if you've ever taken a long-distance Taiwan Railways Administration, TRA, train, you've probably had a bento lunchbox. Well, I've taken a TR train and I've never had a bento lunchbox. Usually because I think I eat right before I go to the train station.
Maybe like Subway sandwiches.
Yeah, or I just make something at home. But yes, you can definitely do this, and it might be a great idea. So let's discover the history of train bento boxes. Unfortunately, we won't be eating them today. We'll just be learning about them today. But that will make us have a big appetite for a bento box the next time we go.
Yeah, 所以如果你乘坐台湾铁路局长途列车，你就会吃过他们的 bento。所以今天我们就是要来讲一下铁路便当的历史哦。When did it start?
Good question. Yeah, let's go back in time to the early days of Taiwan train travel. It says during the period of Japanese rule, 1895 to 1945, the government built an efficient, reliable train system in Taiwan. I'm sure it's not news to anyone out there, or most people, that the Japanese controlled Taiwan for that 50-year period. And the government, that would be the Japanese government at the time, built an efficient, reliable train system in Taiwan, along with a bunch of other things, right? They built a lot of roads and schools, I believe, but the train system is one of the greatest things they left behind. It's efficient and reliable. If something is efficient, that means it's basically a good use of your time and your energy. You're not wasting time, you're not wasting energy, you're getting maximum benefit with minimum effort, basically. So, if you go out and you wake up in the morning and you go out and you do 5 important things you needed to do, go to the bank, go to the post office, get your shoes fixed, and you get home in less than an hour and a half, you'd say, wow, that was really efficient. I got 5 big things done, and it only took me 90 minutes. You didn't waste any time or energy. For example, Zeke's boss didn't know how to run an efficient meeting. It takes him 2 hours to explain one new idea. That's not efficient. The opposite would be inefficient. He's wasting time. And if something is reliable, well, it's kind of efficient because it's always ready and it's always available when needed. When we talk about reliable machines, these won't break down, these won't stop working, especially right when you need them to work. It's broken. No, you need to buy something that's reliable, right? If you're always having trouble starting your motor scooter or car in the morning, for example, maybe it's time to get a more reliable car or scooter because that one's just causing trouble. Here's Rochelle. It says Rochelle has had the same reliable alarm clock for over 15 years. It hasn't let her down yet.
Wow.
I wonder what company made it. Sounds like a good product.
Yeah. 所以这边有一个 efficient， 它就是效率很高的意思。大家不要跟 effective 搞混了。Effective 就是东西非常有效。So efficient is an adjective. We can also use it in the noun form, which is efficiency, 效率。所以我们也可以说 our efforts should be directed towards greater efficiency. 那代表说我们要做事情更有效率。那么 reliable 就是很可靠的，所以如果你说是可靠的消息，英文就是 reliable information.
So by 1940, so this is near the end of when the Japanese were here in Taiwan, that's the Japanese government, by 1940, it had constructed train tracks linking the northern and southern parts of the island. So around 1940, I guess, you could get on a train in Taipei and end up in Kaohsiung a few hours or maybe a day later. The tracks linked the northern and southern parts of the island. How cool. And tracks is basically the system of rails and those wooden things, those are called sleepers, that trains run on. So when you think of sort of the road that trains use, it's obviously not a road like cars or bicycles or buses go on. It's a track. So we call that a track. And these two metal lines are the rails and the wooden bits. Between them are the sleepers, and trains run on them. For example, the truck's engine failed as it sat across the train tracks. Oh no. Just then a train came around the corner, blowing its horn loudly. I hope the train didn't hit the truck that's sitting on the train tracks. That's not safe.
So construct, 我们这边刚刚有看到嘛，他说在1940年的时候就已经建造了这个台湾北到南的火车轨道，这个 construct 是建造。那么我们文章的字 track 就是铁轨，不过有小径跟小道的意思啦。那么当动词的话呢，可以当追踪。我们常常会说 to track something down， so 比如说 detectives tracked her down in California.
Ooh, okay. So with this efficient and reliable train system from north to south, it makes sense that the article says next, once train travel became common, so did the need for food to eat on the go. Right, the train was really good at connecting the whole island and the people, so more and more people were on the train. It became common. And of course, a lot of people on the train means at least some of them are hungry and they want to get food to eat and buy the food on the go. When we use this expression on the go, it basically means when we're traveling, when we're busy, when we're not at home. If you say, I was on the go all day today, you were probably running around doing lots of different things. Or if you say, I won't be home, I'll be on the go because I'm going camping this weekend. It means you're away from home, you're traveling, you're, doing things that keep you busy and also away from your normal home.
So on the go 就是在旅程中的意思。所以一旦火车旅行变得普遍的时候啊，我们在旅途中对这个食物的需求也会随之的增加。
All right, so with hungry people on the go, how are they going to get food? Well, don't worry, there were smart business people out there thinking of this problem. Vendors, it says, began selling Japanese-style ekiben, or train bento boxes. Yeah, that's right, they're called bento boxes, but that's the proper Japanese term, right, is ekiben. That's what we call these bento boxes, especially the ones you buy in train stations. However, we read these were only available at train stations or nearby markets. So they didn't have these types of bento boxes, lunch boxes in stores and restaurants. Only near the train stations or even in the train stations would you find these vendors. Vendors are like salespeople. And they always sold their ekiben nearby to train stations. When something is nearby, it's like saying it's near, it's close, it's not far, it's a short distance from one place to the other. If the place I'm taking you is nearby, we probably won't need to drive or take a taxi. We can probably walk there in about 5 minutes or so. For example, I often go to a nearby restaurant to have a quick lunch. Or you could also say, we can get some food from the nearby shops and then go on a picnic.Right,
所以 vendor 就是小贩跟摊贩的意思哦。那有没有看到 nearby？ 你这个 nearby 就是在附近，所以如果你说附近的商店就是 nearby shops。那所以摊贩开始销售这一些日式车站便当 ekiben 的时候、ekiben I hope I pronounced that right.
I think that's right.
Okay,
yeah.
ekiben 或者是铁路便当这些就是只能在火车站或附近的市场购买啦。
All right, but eventually, as we all know, the war ended and the Japanese left Taiwan. And that's where we pick up the story. When Japanese rule ended, so this would be after 1945, obviously. When Japanese rule ended, Taiwanese began calling ekiben biendang. So, of course, many people here still spoke Japanese, but I guess speaking Mandarin, Chinese became more common. So they changed some of the words for things, got rid of the Japanese and used more local languages, and that's where we came up with the word biendang. That's why we don't call them ekiben, at least in Taiwan, anymore.
That's actually the first time I've heard the word ekiben. Yeah,
okay.
we would say 便当.
Right, exactly.
所以日本统治结束，我们台湾人就开始称 ekiben 变成便当咯，我们会讲自己的语言嘛。
And where did that word biendang come from? Well, actually, there's kind of an interesting story. Biendang, it says this, biendang is a Mandarin word that sounds similar to the Japanese word bento. Bento. Biendang. Bento. Yeah, I guess. A little bit.
Maybe.
Not exactly the same, but I get it. All right. Which means box lunch. Does bento mean box lunch or biendang means box lunch?
Both of them.
Both of them mean even better. All right, so there you go. So box lunch, I guess we flip it around to lunch box.
Oh, yeah.
In English,
or boxed
right?
lunch.
Boxed lunch, right? But I've also heard people call it a lunchbox, which is a little different. A lunchbox in Western countries is usually like just a small plastic box that you put your sandwiches in.
Like in the States, we always say chicken box.
Chicken box?
Yeah, like if it's chicken in there, we
Really?
say chicken box. Don't you say that? Okay,
No, I
chicken.
don't say
Can
that.
I order a chicken box?
Interesting. All right.
好，我们来看一下今天的 Language in Focus。我们今天要讲的 Language in Focus 是要讲到连缀动词。连缀动词呢，它又称为不完全不及物动词。好，其实不要看中文，我们现在看英文，为什么呢？我们来看一下这个东西呢，叫做像什么像什么。所以比如说你一个主词好了，我们常见的连缀动词后面就可以放上 taste, smell, feel 或者是 look or sound， 就是等于跟我们感官动词一样。那我们可以加形容词，比如说哇，这个披萨也太好吃了吧，就算它没有加任何的 cheese。那么我们的英文就可以说 The pizza tastes delicious without any cheese at all. 所以你看哦，这个 taste 后面是不是加上了一个形容词 delicious？ 那么如果你后面要加上名词的话，就不要忘记加上一个 like 在中间。所以比如说 The coffee smelled like burning oil， 就是这咖啡闻起来太像油了吧，烧油可能不太好闻哦。好，所以这是一个国文单词，我们在文章中间讲到国语单词变成便当，因为它跟日语单词 bento 很像，意思就是便当或者是盒饭的意思。
All right, so the Japanese left in 1945, but the bento boxes didn't, thank goodness. They just became biendang, and people could buy them from vendors. Now, I guess they were probably selling a lot of these lunch boxes, these vendors, because it seems that eventually the TRA, the people who run the railway in Taiwan, were like, hey, we got to get some of this nice bento box money. And that's what they did. It says in 1956, the TRA began its own meal preparation services and started selling biendang aboard trains during journeys. That's right. I guess the vendors were selling them outside the train stations, but the TRA thought, hey, if we can sell them to people on the train, that will be more efficient for them and also make more money for us. So this is a good idea. And so they have to set up some meal preparation services. Meal preparation is basically like cooking. If you're cooking something and then putting it on a plate or in a box for people to take away, you're preparing a meal. And preparation is the noun form of preparing or making something, putting something together, getting something ready, that kind of thing. It might take you, 15 minutes every morning to do your preparation before you go to school or work or something
50
like
minutes?
that. Well, I'm just thinking about like packing your bag and putting on your shoes.
Doing your makeup.
No, not all that stuff too. just getting ready to walk out the door. That's your preparation. But yes, also eating your breakfast and stuff could be too. Here's an example for the word preparation. Top athletes start their preparations for the Olympics many years in advance. They don't just get in shape a month before the Olympics. No, like 10 years before the Olympics. And aboard, we talked about selling biendang aboard trains. When you're aboard something, that just means you're inside or on a kind of vehicle, all right? Usually a bigger one. You wouldn't be aboard a car or a bicycle or something. You would be aboard a train, an airplane, and most typically a boat. You are on board or aboard this big machine that usually moves lots of people. For example, there are only 8 people aboard the train, so there are plenty of seats available.
Maybe the train is pretty small. That's why there's only 8 people.
I like those cute Japanese trains with like one car and they go into the mountains.
So cute.
Yeah.
所以像是那个我们这个字啊 preparation 它就是准备的意思，来自于动词 prepare， 所以 to prepare for something 就是为什么准备。比如说 police officers must be prepared for the unexpected， 就是他们呢警察要随时准备好应付很紧急的状况。所以在1956年的时候呢，台铁呢就开始了自己的备餐服务咯，就可以开始在旅途中的火车站出售便当。这边看到一个字不要搞错了哦，如果是出国是 abroad， 但这边是 aboard， 不要搞错，它是在火车上的意思，不止在火车上，在飞机、公共汽车、船都是 OK 的。
All right, so since 1956, people have been able to buy bento boxes aboard the trains, and they have been popular since then. We read in the last sentence, the TRA now prepares official meals at facilities in Taipei, Taichung, Kaohsiung, Hualien, and Chidu stations. Chidu?
Yeah, Chidu.
Oh, that's to go for people going out to the beach, maybe, or going over to Yilan or somewhere. Oh, interesting.
We have a Udu and Chidu.
Right, there's many do's, yes. It sells over 10 million bento boxes every year. And I haven't had one. I feel so silly.
No, that's okay, because I don't think I have either. Or maybe once. 所以这边有一个 facility 就是区域场所的意思，就是用作于某个用途的区域场所。所以台铁呢，目前在台北站、台中站、高雄站、花莲站以及七堵站都有官方的盒饭哦，而且每年都销售超过1000万个便当。Oh my goodness, they make a lot of money.
They must do, yeah. 26 million people in Taiwan, 10 million bento boxes. That's like 4 out of 10 people buy bento boxes.
I know, right?
It's probably just one guy
But we're
eating
not one
a
of
lot.
them?
No, we're not. All right, we have a chat question before we wrap it up. Do you like traveling by train or another way better? Why?
I think I prefer driving.
Driving?
It's much more convenient.
Can't eat a bento box.
We can buy a bento box.
You can't eat it while you don't eat it while you're driving.
Oh, that's true.
That's dangerous.
But we can maybe pull over.
You can pull over. There you go.
But it's not eco-friendly.
That's true. That's absolutely. I like train travel. Boat, ship.
Oh, okay.
Something I'd like to do a bit
seasick?
more. I don't know. That's the thing. I'd like to do it more and discover.
You don't get seasick.
But I won't eat a bento box on the boat in case I do
River
get
sick?
seasick.
Seasick?
I don't think so. But I'd like to travel by boat more to discover if I really am. Totally tough.
Okay.
All right, guys, that's all the time we have, but keep your appetite. We have more about bento boxes tomorrow, so come back for that. Vocabulary Review.
Efficient. My new refrigerator is so efficient that it uses 40% less power than my old one. Reliable. This bus schedule isn't reliable now because it was made a few years ago. Track. Rosie's shoe got caught in the train track while she was crossing, but luckily no trains were coming. Nearby. On the weekends, we play at a nearby park. It only takes us 2 minutes to walk there from our house. Preparation. We'll begin the lunch preparation activity by putting 2 slices of bread on each plate. Aboard. There are around 2,000 people aboard this ship as it sails to Japan and South Korea.
智慧小补帖
Construct. Vendor. Mandarin. facility,